send the other songs.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 521. It's Saturday, June 15th, 2013, 2 p.m. Pacific Time. Internet talk radio for your imagination. Mike Matthews broadcasting from the last place on earth, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, California. Today we hear from Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, John Deere the Engineer, plus part 2 of my Into an interview with Evan Abeele of the Dream Pop Group MEMORYHOUSE. Mike's Daily Podcast. And lately I have been getting a lot of attention for what's growing around my mouth. Mike's Daily Podcast. It's my goatee, which I've had since the early 90s because I am a crazy guy, and I've been growing it longer and longer over the past couple months. Why? You may ask, well, why not? I've never had it this long, but I'm starting to get people saying things to me like, dude, that goatee's long. Yes, I did use the same word twice in a rhyme, but one was different. Mike's Daily Podcast. Because the first long that I used was with 3 N's. And I don't know how this went. Mike's. I mean, it could have gone Daily better, this song, but podcast. That's really all I have is this goatee story. Oh, and that also, there's this little beach on the bay that's about 15 minutes from my house. I take Basil walking around this area, and I took him off the leash, and he went running up and down the beach. It was so funny. And then he gets thirsty, and he can't drink the bay water because that's like all salt, briny ick. So I bring water with me, right? And I open up the bottle that has the water in it, and the wind's blowing, and it makes that noise. And my dog, Basil the Boxer, looks at me like, how are you doing that? What are you doing? And I go to pour him the drink, but he's already freaking out, and he's running around barking at me because of the sound. He really doesn't like funky noises. It's probably why he leaves when I start recording the podcast. Look who else just walked in. I mean, look who just walked in. Mike Matthews, I feel really bad for Basil because it's Chely Shoehart, the job supervisor. Hi, Chely. Yeah, and I feel bad that he gets all upset when you record your podcast. Hear that? Hear that? He just said, no, I love it when he does his podcast. That didn't sound like that to me, Mike Matthews. Listen again. No, that definitely sounded like you should stop doing that because you're destroying my ear canal. Tomato. Look who else just walked in. Hello, Mike, this is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere the Engineer. Mike, have you heard about this thing with Pandora? Ah, Pandora, the internet radio station. It's like the #1 internet radio station. Has the most amount of subscribers and people listening to it on the internet. Has decided to purchase a small adult contemporary radio station on the main street in Rapid City, South Dakota. Yes, Pandora, based in Oakland, has now acquired a radio station called KXMZ. Let's listen to what they're playing right now, shall we?
It's only natural to want the best. At BES Lighting, we view lighting from the entire perspective, not just by the fixture.
That must be the Pandora station for annoying commercials, which some people like, that in rotation, listening to different. If you like this annoying commercial, you'll like this annoying commercial. Oh, how interesting. Well, so they're buying this station because they want to lower the rates that they have to pay for playing music, because they're trying to be more like iHeartRadio, which is their closest competition, a streaming service owned by Clear Channel. They don't have to pay that much because Clear Channel owns hundreds of terrestrial radio stations, and they pay the same amount in royalties online for online streaming that it does for broadcasting the same songs, according to NPR.org, that did this awesome story about this. Now, Pandora has an attorney named Christopher Harrison. He says this isn't fair. Pandora shouldn't be discriminated against simply because they don't have a radio station. So they bought this station in Rapid City with population 70,000 in an effort to get the rate enjoyed by our iHeartRadio. Royalty rates are negotiated mostly with rights organizations like ASCAP and BMI, which represent hundreds of thousands of songwriters and music publishers. Back when rates were established, playing a song on the radio was considered a free advertisement for a record. Since rights holders were getting money from record sales, they got less from radio royalties. The president of ASCAP, Paul Williams, says broadcasters pay the same in royalties for radio and streaming because those streams account for a tiny portion of their audience, and there's a very different model between internet radio and terrestrial radio. They use music and generate revenue in different ways, he says. However, a lot of artists are upset at Pandora for doing this, including Blake Morgan, an independent musician. He says that he has a song called Better Angels that got 28,000 plays on Pandora. And over a 90-day period, how much did that song earn? $1.62. He says that is a very typical rate. Tim Westergren, whom I actually did a report on when I took that business class at the community college a couple of years ago at the Chabot Community College near us in Podcastro Valley, California. Not in Podcastro, it's actually in Hayward. Okay, whatever. So Pandora, their co-founder, Tim Westergren, he sent out emails to musicians trying to get them behind this attempt to even the rates. And this artist, Blake Morgan, said that he wrote Tim Westergren and told him that he was quite upset about the whole deal. Blake says that Tim cashes in $1 million of stock every month on the first of the month, and he's done so over the same 14-month period that recording artists like me earned $15.75. So keep an eye on this story. According to Laura Seidel that wrote this article, this is going to continue to be a big issue, and as it has been, but it will grow even larger as Tim Westergren has thrown down the gauntlet and bought a South Dakota radio station. Mike Matthews, I love South Dakota. It's really nice and there's a lot of cowboys. Yes, that's true. Mike, I don't understand. What's a Pandora? It's a radio station that you type in like what group you like, and it makes a radio station out of the group that you like. So you like Journey. I hate Journey. Well, let's just say you like them. It'll like play a Journey song, then a Boston song, then probably something from Foreigner, and on and on and on, and it keeps playing music for you so that you don't have to listen to the radio. However, Pandora does play commercials, just not that many, and you can have like no commercials if you pay them a particular fee. Mike Matthews, I think we should make new technology that makes all internet radio obsolete. And that would be good, how? Well, what we would do is we would put a tiny little chip in people's ears, and they could listen to music, whatever song they were thinking of, they could listen to it at that moment. Wow, John Deere, that's an amazing... Have you patented that? Yes, and I've also patented jeans, but I've been told by the Supreme Court that I can't make any money off of it and that my patents are obsolete. Yes. How do you feel about that? I don't care. Well, you can tell me what you think about John Deere's idea. You know, I think your idea actually wouldn't work because a lot of the times people can't think of songs they like. Have you ever walked into a record store and you're like, oh, there's so many songs I want to buy, and then you can't even think of the band that you want to purchase? I've had that. It's like writer's block in a record store. Record block, maybe. Well, Mike, that sounds like a thing. It is a thing. And there's a thing on the floor. Can you mop that up? With pleasure, because I'm Floyd the Floorman. I still don't understand what Pandora is. Well, you can tell me what you think of this whole ordeal. Email me, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. We read your comments on the section emails from email. Also, email me if you'd like to be a guest on the show or if you'd like to sponsor the show, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. You could also check out the website. We have the website where you can listen to the show through the website. We've got several Mike's Daily Podcast players to listen to the show on at mikesdailypodcast.com. Also links to where you can subscribe to the show in iTunes and rate the show and comment the show there as well if you could do that for us in iTunes. We also have links to where to find us on Facebook, YouTube, Yelp, Twitter, and SoundCloud, and Spreaker.com. We also have the blog and the podcast picture at mikesdailypodcast.com, as well as the Amazon deal of the day. Click on that and purchase something, and we see a little bit of money. Probably like $1.52, like Blake Morgan sees, but whatever. That will not buy me a Starbucks.
Into an interview.
We're talking with Evan Abeele of Memory House. You can find out more about them at memoryhow.se. I love how you did that. They're on Sub Pop Records. And Evan, I wanted to ask you about your online show. There's you're doing an online show?
Yeah, that's right. We're doing a telecast for the world, I guess. It's kind of weird. We're looking forward to it, though.
Wow. So you'll be in a studio and then people can see you live.
Yeah, basically it's going to be an interactive concert where people can go on webcams and I don't know, request songs or I don't know, flash us, whatever people do on webcams. I don't know. So it'll be cool, and they get to determine the set list. We're doing the set list as we go along, and if people shout out a song, we're going to try to do it.
Is that going to be through the memoryhow.se?
It's we're going to link it there, but I think the website that's putting it on is called stageit.com.
Stage It. Oh, okay. And that's on in the 21st?
The 23rd. I think it's
23rd.
Sunday the 23rd.
Sunday the 23rd. Perfect. That will be fun. Now, you were touring Europe.
Yes.
How did that go? And I don't know why my voice is going like this, right? I'm suddenly going through puberty, Evan. I apologize.
No worries. It happens to everyone. Europe was cool. It was actually insanely hot, so a lot of it was a bit physically brutal to get through because there was this record-breaking heat wave in a lot of it, especially France. We were there for a while because we did a few shows and a few festivals, and we would have to just pour cold buckets of water on the beds in order to sleep because it was so hot everywhere, and the air conditioning was broken in the hotel, and it was impossible to sleep, so we'd have to soak the bed with ice water and just try to sleep. It was a nightmare.
That would make me pee all night.
Yeah, it was weird, but it was the hardest part of any tour I think we'd ever gone through. Just the heat factor can, especially you're so fatigued after we've just been flying in and out of countries every day.
Wow.
And so it was pretty intense.
Wow. So that's one way to get through it is to pour water on your bed. It helps you.
Yes, the only way around it is through it.
Wow. So Europe, yeah, I think I did go to Germany when I was a kid, and I remember it being really, really hot, and it was in the middle of summer, and that's...
Yeah, it's really intense there, and of course, it's summer, so all these concerts are outside. They're all festivals, so we're playing in this glaring sun and this intense heat, and everyone's sweaty and pissed off. They're not pissed off. Everyone's enjoying themselves, but it's just everyone's still really kind of a slave to the weather, I guess.
Just got to keep hydrated and don't get heat stroke.
Yeah.
Wow, you deserve a medal for that, getting through that. Like a Survivor Award or something. And you play in America. Where do you like to play?
New York is always fun. Chicago's really cool. I think we really like playing LA a lot. I think that the last time we were in LA, we played at the Fonda Theater with another sub pop band called Washed Out, and it was pretty fun. It was a packed crowd the whole way through. It was pretty awesome.
Now I want to go visit Canada. Where should I go?
It depends on what you like. If you like kind of the Seattle and the Pacific Northwest type scene, I definitely go to Vancouver. It's pretty cool.
Right.
Toronto's kind of busy, has really bad air pollution.
Oh.
Kind of smelly. We live in Toronto, so I tend to not like it a lot after being here for a few years. But, it's okay. There's a lot to do there. Montreal is kind of cool. It's kind of the Mexico of Canada where kind of anything goes.
Ooh. All right. That might be interesting. I had no idea that was...
Yeah, if you want to get lost for a weekend, you can just go to Montreal. Things will happen.
That's excellent travel advice, Evan. Thank you. Let's play The Kids Were Wrong. Tell me about this song.
Okay. To tell you about it?
Yeah. How did it come about?
It was actually one of the